Hello and welcome to Centurion's Corner, and today we have another parcel all the way over from China, and we have more bootleg clone troopers. Now this one's going to be split into two videos, just for the fact that they're sort of like this kind of parts of these clone troopers. I have actually finished off the rest of the wolf clone troopers, so the beginning of this video will be exactly the same as the other, and the other one is the brand new body that they have brought out. So it's actually got the new parts and all that on there. However, I still haven't got an official brand new body clone trooper, and I have ordered one of the phase 2 clone troopers, because they're bringing out a phase 1 one at the moment, but that's on pre-order, so I can buy this one straight from the outset. So I've got an official one on the way, so we can actually do a side-by-side comparison as well. So I might actually do it into 3 videos. It might come over 4 videos, because I want to review the necessary of the official one and then maybe do a side-by-side comparison. So this is the new body one. I've actually bought it as the ARF trooper rather than getting a second phase 2 shiny clone trooper. So it's just the body is different. So anyway, with that, we can actually look at these two. So I've actually picked up the standard grunt of Wolfpack, and the other one here as well, which I think is Sinker, if I'm not mistaken, on the last part. So we're just going to open these up, get our first impressions going through here. And taking this off as well. So just putting those over to one side, and yeah, these guys are pretty cool. And again, like the actual details on these guys look phenomenal. So going away, we put them through their paces, and we see you in a mo on those ones. But before I go off and split this into 2 videos, we'll quickly open this one up as well, and we have a quick look at this. So this guy comes with the same equipment as well. It comes with a DC rifle and carbine, and but it's got the whole new body. So we've got the swivel sort of like biceps up on there as well. So it's not looking too bad. My first impressions before actually picking up these guys, before I go off and do the review, I'm probably rabbiting on a little bit too much. I actually thought this one was going to lose its shininess. It's not as shiny as this guy, but once we put a matte spray on this one and dirty him up, you're not really going to notice any different there. So anyway, I'm going to go away, do some comparisons, do some other bits. In the meantime, my other clone trooper might arrive, so who knows. So we'll see you in the suit. Away, we've taken this guy's pictures, and what can I say about this new mould? Well, to be honest, I think he's pretty nice and I think he's fantastic. However, I still haven't got that official phase 2 clone trooper yet. He's on its way, but I thought I'd get this video out before he turns up, because I know you guys are sort of waiting to see what these new moulds are like. And when that one comes in, I'll do a review of it, and then maybe by the end of the week, hopefully we'll do a comparison of the bootleg sort of body compared to the official phase 2 clone trooper as well. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sometimes a little bit optimistic when it comes to Black Series. Sometimes I know they improve things, and sometimes I think, is it necessary? Is it unnecessary? And I think sometimes the clone troopers, they've been so sort of mass produced, and it wasn't a bad body, that I don't feel like it needed an upgrade. But I'm wrong. Like, actually, I was wrong again. I actually didn't think the clones needed the original clone trooper body, and then they released the new one, and then now this one is great. But this is the bootleg version, so I'll be going over what this is different to the bootlegs, because I haven't got that official one, and then once we do that comparison, we'll get through it. Anyway, that's enough of me sort of rabbiting on. So he comes with 2 accessories. I mean, they're exactly the same that we always get from Aliexpress. So this is the black DC carbine. You can see the black plastic thing in there. There's no colour bleed, or it's all in one colour anyway, but you know, there's no sort of mould sort of like residue or anything on there. Really kind of nice thick plastic as well. So yeah, pretty cool on there. And as you can see, he's actually got the DC carbine in his hands, and we'll go back into this a little bit later on, but he actually holds it really good. So that's his accessories. I mean, his helmet does come off, which is like the Rancor squad that Christian has told me. So I don't really remember these guys from the Clone Wars, but I didn't want to buy another Phase 2 Clone Trooper. So these helmets are obviously like custom ones from Aliexpress, and they do stick on the head quite nicely. So, but they're not glued, so just a little bit of pressure. So that took a lot longer than I expected, but the helmets are removable and looking pretty cool. So for an actual kind of custom helmet, that is great that they are removable. But yeah, I would say probably put them in hot water a little bit, give them a little bit of softness, and then put it on the head if you want to make it a really good removable helmet. If not, then I would say it's more of a keep a permanent on there. But once it's on, it's all fine and dandy. And with that, we can go through this guy's articulation. So left, he can go right, he can look down this far, and he can look up there. You've got a nice bit of swagger in there as well. We've got full rotation around at the arm, and then this is attached to the top, so the arm can come up this way. Got a nice butterfly joint in there. We've got the rotation as well at the upper arm. We have a nice 90-degree elbow bend, and then we've got the rotation at the elbow as well. And then we've got rotation around at the wrist, and it's on the hinge. This one hinges up and down on this side. Ab crunch, we've got left, we've got right. He can crunch forward this much, and he can crunch back this much, and then we've got a bit of tilt on there as well. Leg wise, they can come up this way, then go forward, it can go back, and then we've got upper thigh rotation. We've got lower knee rotation as well, and it's on the 90-degree bend as well. And then we've got the rocker and the pivot at the ankle. So all in all, really good articulation. The new articulation is at the top here for this sort of like top arm swivel here. But it's more like the torso as well. So we go through the actual kind of modifications that they have done and do a comparison to the other bootlegs as well. But we just get through this helmet really quickly. So this is the Rancor squad, looking pretty cool. As I said, I don't really remember these guys from the Clone Wars, but apparently so. They are from there, and that's what Christian said. So we've got a nice little kind of red dots on here, little black parts there. Got this bit is an off-colour white around the side, with a nice grey on the side there, and then we've got the kind of logo on the side, on the top as well. I feel like I might need to take this off and re-glue it down. I've done that with all the ARF troopers. For some reason, it always seems to be sort of like picked up one side, so when you look from above, it kind of looks a little bit out of shape. But, you know, it is a bootleg at the end of the day. It's not going to be super perfect. And then you've got that other paintwork around there, but it's so crisp and neat. Looking pretty cool. And then we've got the black visor on there, which is glossy compared to that other black paint that they've used on the front there. So yeah, really, really nice. And then you've got that little bit at the top there. Rest of the actual body is just a plain clone, all in white. So there's no extra markings on there at all. So with that, we can actually go through a little comparison of other bootlegs. So we can't do the one to the official, but we can do it to the old bootleg body, that is for sure. So I brought in the little grunt guy that we had on the other day on the channel. We'll take his gun away, and we'll go through those sort of little things that I've really sort of noticed over this time. So first of all, we can actually go in size comparison. So as I said the other day, like these guys are a little bit smaller than these guys. So when these guys are actually holding the gun, and I'll put that on here like so. So it just doesn't reach very well to the actual trigger. It just feels slightly a little bit too short of like where the little trigger handle is there. So when you start sort of moving these guys around, trying to get them into like a gun pose, yes, they can achieve it easily. Like these guys are fantastic. Great clones. They're not sort of undying that these ones are really bad. But sometimes you just want to get it up there, and once you start moving it around, it just starts popping out just from the inside here, which is slightly annoying. And then when you compare them to the original Clone Troopers, these are slightly smaller. And I think with everything, it's just like a percentage smaller. So the hands are slightly too small just for these guns, which they're designed for. But they have increased the size. So as you can put these side by side, standing upright, you can see that these guys are actually a lot larger than these. Just the shoulders are just up the top. They're just a little bit more robust, and they'd stand a bit bigger. The hands are a lot larger, and these two actually have trigger hands on both sides. So if you want dual wield, you can do so. But the good thing of this, we'll take that gun off and put it into this one here. And it's just easy. It just fits in really nicely. And because we've got this swivel at the top here now as well, you can really get that kind of motion. And that sometimes I just like to bring this gun up just in line, just so they look like they're sniping down the line and stuff like that. And these guys have definitely got it. So yeah, just that extra very small minor percentage of being a little bit bigger, it just completely works, which is fantastic. So we take this gun out as well, and then we go through the other ones as we work down. So the head on the inside, I have done a comparison of that off screen, and it is the same, but we can go down onto the torso. So the torso is completely different. You can see it's elonged. It's not got this kind of sort of like robotic type sort of like chest armor on here. It's more sort of like sloped over. It's got a more natural look to it compared to these. So I guess this is more realistic, and this is probably more sort of to the classic cartoon as well. And with that, you can see the actual torso, it actually comes down a lot lower, so it sort of hangs down over these buttons a little bit more, when this has got a really kind of high ridged and more angular look on there as well. The belt just seems very similar, looks the same in my opinion. Leg wise, we're coming down to the shins now. The only thing I would say, it's made of a more of a sort of milky type plastic. Now I don't know if the official ones are like that, but these remind me of the original clone troopers that we had way back, like the bootleg ones, the first ones that came out. It was so nice. It was kind of like so easy to paint on compared to these. These are actually like made of like what acrylic kind of painting trays are made of. So the paint just used to just flick or just melt straight off them. So yeah, it's got that kind of nice feel to it. Coming down to these legs as well, the knee pads as well, they're kind of on the lower part, but it's actually removable. So if you want it at the top, you can do so, or if you want it on the bottom, you can do that as well. So they're not stuck to either or, so it's up to you how you want to do that. And that's about it for the body on these parts that I can see and notice, but it's mainly in the torso, and with that it actually affects the pauldrons as well. So these are actually a larger like circumference around on it compared to this one. It's very minor, but when you put them next to each other, you can see that the shoulders come more over, making the shoulders look more kind of broader compared to these guys as well. And it was one of the nitpicks that when these came out, they were a little bit too small. So yeah, you got the full armor that really hangs over the top of the shoulder there, looking pretty good. And obviously we got that sort of rotation on the inside, which I didn't think really we would really need, but it really just gives off to that, especially that gun wielding type as well. So come around on the back, very similar again, but getting more angular rather than, well, more elonged than when this one was more angled in the proportions on those sort of sides there. So yeah, definitely a change there. The belts again, I would say is probably the same, and then just down on the bum and downwards on the legs again, it's just the plastic. The plastic feels more milky, more kind of chalky, I guess, rather than this sort of like really shiny plastic on this one. So easy for painting, easy for weathering. A matte spray on this one will give that kind of feel for this as well. So yeah, easy on those parts. But yeah, a fantastic figure, highly recommend. I mean, at the moment they've only just released this guy and a phase 2 shiny, so we'll wait for the shiny official one to come down the line. I'll do a review of that, and then we'll do a comparison. So stay tuned to the channel for at least to the end of the week anyway. The other thing I have noticed with this, there's a few little nitpicks before we actually end the video. The head, if you do take the helmet off, the head comes off quite easily, but these guys suffered from the same thing as well on that. So I think it's just like the ball joint and the softer plastic of the neck that has effect on that. And this leg as well, it just kind of like feels like it's sticking out a little bit more compared to the other one. This one's like a nice straight uniform line. This one just sticks out just slightly. And what I have noticed with playing it, the leg does pull off quite easily, exactly the same as that. But once it's on, it's not like, oh, it's always going to fall off. It's never going to fall off. That's me yanking it, and the movement on there is absolutely fine. But I was just moving it into like certain kind of angular kind of poses, and it just popped off while I was sort of like trying to sort of put it to its test, to be honest with you. But yeah, since then I've put it back on. It just kind of looks a little bit out of place on that shin. It just sticks out just a little bit too much, but small nitpick, to be honest with you. So yeah, this is the bootleg AliExpress new clone body, looking pretty cool. So I'm hoping to a lot more of the new clones that they bring out down the line, that'll be using this body. They just released some phase 1 501st guys, and they were using the older body. So it might take a little while till it gets into production, but yeah, I'm glad that they're doing it. So thank you for joining me on this one. Don't forget you can comment down below, you can subscribe, ding the bell, follow me on Instagram, and what are your favourite clones? Which are the ones that you think AliExpress should do next? Comment down below, let us know. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye!